Hi, sorry. We came inside. It's a little bit chilly now. It's dropping fast because we're supposed to get high winds tonight all through tomorrow and a winter storm. But from what I was talking about in my last discussion, it's my son and Heaven's birthday week. I celebrate the entire week of his birth. He actually has the same birth and death day. I had a stillbirth 13 years ago. His name was Declan. Is Declan. I affectionately call him Ducky. That was just going to be my thing. I looked down and I touched my belly and I was like, be good today, Ducky. You know, I always called him that because in my mind I knew I was going to name him Declan. And I just thought that was cute. You know, it goes with his name a little. Anyway, so I've like really healed. Like I'm talk about my son with joy and pride, and I have a deep bond now that I'm a psychic medium with both of my children. I lost a baby girl and a baby boy, and I don't communicate with them often because I feel like it's detrimental to communicate often with your own children because it's just unnatural to, like, even God lost his child and he had to watch his child suffer. It's just an unnatural feeling to be looking up at heaven and talking to your baby, but that's my reality. It doesn't mean I'm not a mom. I think about them all the time, and I've always, like, that's why I took their death so hard, because I have a lot of aspirations in my life. I have a lot of goals, but the one thing I've always wanted and knew that I was put on this earth to do is to be a mom. And I don't have like any terms in which way I am a mom. I will raise someone else's kids. I will raise mine. You know, I would like to have both. That's my dream, to be able to have my own children and bring in other children that are wonderful and need a home. Like, I would love to do that one day and have the means to do that and have the partner that can, like, I have a lot of hang-ups about relationships. I explained a little bit about I can say it because that's what it is. At the time, I didn't understand I was being abused because it wasn't physical for a lot of it. You know what I mean? So learning what abuse was a big step for me. I was raised in the hood, and I don't think, like, we got out of it. My parents were never like hood people. They were very educated and they had a good upbringing, but because my parents were young parents, most of my family was in good areas, but we lived in the poor areas because you know, everyone was off at college while my parents were being parents. You know, my mom was pregnant at her high school graduation, so she became a mom very early, and they had a struggle, but they did get up and out of it, and I'm proud of them. So I don't say that with any shade, but I think when you grow up in, I have no memory of my parents ever loving each other or ever being in love or ever being married. They divorced when I was 1. And my mom had long-term relationships, but I never really got along with the long terms apart from for one man, and none of my other siblings got along with him, but I looked to him like a second dad. Like, my dad was a very young dad like my mom, and when I was younger he was not consistent with his visits and seeing us, but I saw Tom every day. We lived with him. He took care of me. He helped me with my homework. You know, he gave me baths. He got me up for school. So he was like really the first memory I have of a dad. And my mom left him when I was about 5 or 6. And they didn't tell me they were breaking up. They said we were moving. And then on the last day of moving, Tom told me that he wasn't staying. And I feel like from that point on, I just had this impression that every man will leave my life, because Tom, I had this consistent father figure for a set amount of years that my mom and him were together, and he was a great guy, and we lived in his house. We had a great childhood playing. We had this giant yard, and we left that for a parking lot in a bar with no grass, all pavement. So my life drastically went from safe and solid to rocky and no daycare, and like a lot of bad shit happened to me after Tom left us. And my mom had to work, and my siblings, that's just how it was back then. It wasn't any different to what other moms were doing. But and my dad was in and out because he was young, and he was trying to find himself. He was never not a dad, but my mom had us every day, and my dad would come around when he felt like it, when it was convenient, and it wasn't consistent. And I never had a solid relationship with a man. Even the person that I was going to marry had this whole other life that I didn't know about, and still had the characteristics of other men that I couldn't really count on. I have a great relationship with my dad, and I know 100% I can count on my dad. He grew up, he got better. But when you're teen parents, I feel like some shit happens first before they grow up too. It's like your parents grew up with you. You know what I mean? So my dad is solid, and he's the one man in my life. And I had great grandpas, like my mom's dad and my dad's dad, that were amazing male role models. It's not like I haven't had a view of what it was, but I've never experienced love correctly. So I have all of this fear of choosing wrong again, of being educated and being healed, and then still winding up with a destroyed soul at the end of the day. Like, I can handle miscarriages and I can handle stillbirths. What I cannot handle is being a parent on my own, going through emotional traumas on my own, doing all of the housework, all of the physical work that is keeping a home and raising children. I don't want to do that all by myself. We no longer live in a world where it has to just be on the woman, whether one works or doesn't. It's a lot. You know what I mean? Is it always going to be equal? No. But I want a husband that gives a fuck about being a husband. I don't know however else to say it. Like, wants to be and aspires to be a good husband. Like, pays the fuck attention. Listens. You know what I mean? I don't really need romance, but I've never fucking had it, so I would like it. I've never been romanced. I thought I did, but a gas station of flour. Hey, babe, throw it in your lap. Got you something today. How about we have some fun later. That's not romantic. That's like, give me a flower and you think you're gonna get a BJ. That's not how it works. That's how hoodmen, in my perception of hoodmen, it was like they always did things for sexual things, even in a relationship with you. I don't know what the fuck a healthy relationship looks like with me in it. Like, I know what a healthy relationship is, and I'm gonna aspire for that. That's why I've been celibate. But I don't know what life is like with that. I just know life as me being healthy on my own. I've carried myself a long fucking time, and I say this with pride, but I want to be taken care of. I want a husband that just takes care of shit. And I'm highly fucking independent. So for that to come out of my mouth is like huge in therapy. I don't let people take care of me, but I want it. I want to be able to let someone take care of me. Does that mean buy me shit and do everything for me? No. Absolutely fucking not, because I don't want someone like that. But like, when I can't fucking hang and I'm just at my wit's end, I got you. And I know it's going to be taken care of. That's the man I will marry.